Quite Honest Movie Reviews. This is Netflix's Dark, which is a original series. It is German-based, so there is dubbing involved. If you'd like to listen to it in English, there's subtitles as well. I wasn't a huge fan of the dubbing. I thought it was kind of poor at times, but once you get used to it, it's not quite as bad. So the show takes place over multiple eras, 3 specific eras. 2019, which is the present time within the show, a couple of years from the time of filming this review, but that is where it's set, and then it connects with 2 past time zones, and it takes place over a series of days, and all those days are interconnected, and that builds into the whole time concept of the show. I don't want to spoil things, so I'm not going to go into it too much. With there being so many eras, there's a lot of connections between the characters. You get to see them at different stages, you get to see their families, and it kind of all connects in a very confusing way. It's hard to keep track of all the characters, especially I think with the dubbing, perhaps with the voices. It just doesn't match up as well for me. I found it was a bit overwhelming with how much content they had, to the point I was considering getting a flowchart in order to keep track of what was happening. That being said, it's a very engaging show. It's beautifully well shot. The cinematography is gorgeous, just the way, and it's all very simplistic in the sense that there's a few number of sets. And I say that as a good thing because you get that connection. You get to see it like the same house currently, you get to see it in the past, and you get to see it in the far past. So you get more of a connection. They also show photos of the cast side by side occasionally, and that's to try to get you to connect. Still, I felt as though maybe they could have spread it out over more episodes, or maybe across multiple seasons, just this particular season, because there was so much going on that it felt overwhelming. I love the ideas and the concepts they were developing in it. It's a very interesting show, and again, very engaging. You're just fully attentive to it, and I love that. But it's one of the first originals where I've sat there and I'm like, I would like more episodes out of this. Most of the time it's like, oh, there's too many episodes being stretched out. But this one I was like, I'd like to see more of it, just from what they were trying to explain. It was really well done, but it was too definitive in how it all wrapped up, and I don't like time-based shows and films that are all predetermined in what's going to happen. Still, it's very interesting to sit there and guess what's going to go on, who's going to connect with who, and sort of figuring out what's going to happen. I love those types of shows. I did predict a fair bit of things. The predictions I did have wrong. I was more or less confused who is who, and that's a big problem. It's like, I think this character is this character, but it's sort of hard to understand because, I don't know, either the dubbing or just what's going on. It's hard to make those connections because you're not given enough time. I think it was episode late 2, 3, they made their first time jump, and it was cool, and I was like, okay, I'm making the connection, and then they did another time jump in like another 2 episodes or something, and it was just completely getting lost at times. It's easy to follow, but you've got to have patience with it because certain things get revealed later on, and those connect with earlier events, so you really have to remember what happened, remember each small scene, and then see how it plays out. I like the concepts that were involved with it. I thought it was a very well-designed show. The concept was really good. I'd love to see a second season. I don't know if they'd get the budget for Netflix to do it properly, or if they would do more of like a cheaper style, because I can kind of think of multiple ways of how it would go. Again, I don't want to go into details because I feel like I would spoil aspects of it actually talking about the story and what goes on with it. It's a very interesting start. It's a group of kids, and they're kind of going out in the wilderness. Something happens, and then it's sort of the fallout from that, and how this event is tied into all the other events that have happened in the past. And then there's the whole crime side where they're trying to figure out what happened, and then there's the kids discovering, well, some of the kids discovering, how time is manipulated, and it all ties together for a big, very interesting conspiracy style show setup, and I absolutely love that. I thought it was, again, really well shot. It is very creative. I love the concepts in it. It's going to be very much, can you handle the dubbing and you want to keep watching it, versus actually just jumping in and watching it like a regular show. It's content-wise, there's too much going on too fast, and that will definitely create an overwhelming sense of like basically exhaustion. I was just exhausted watching it because I was trying to sink in all this information and trying to connect all these dots at the same time, because there's so many characters going on, and it's just, I even feel that maybe some were underused because there's not enough screen time, because you're dealing with 3 eras of the cast, right? And then there's overlap, and just a ton going on. Dark was really good. I mean, it's worth checking out just to give it a try. It's got that cool, I don't know if it was truly supernatural, but it's got some interesting time aspects to it that I really loved, and I enjoyed those types of shows and what if questions and so forth. I enjoyed it. I give it a 7.2 out of 10, and you can read my full in-depth review in the description below. And if you have any questions, let me know.